Welcome back, everybody, for the second of three presentation, culminating experience presentation for the Berklee Global Jazz Institute class of continuing master student 2020. And the second presentation is Eli Heath, and I would like to read briefly a couple of notes about Eli. He's an emerging American bassist, composer, and band leader, currently located in Boston, Massachusetts. He has appeared at major festival and venue across North America, Europe, Brazil, with artists including Charles Neville, Dominic Farinacci, Nicole Airy, Friesen, and Eric Lawrence, and Jimmy Haddad. And he's currently completing a master's degree in contemporary global jazz performance on a full tuition scholarship at Berklee College of Music through the Berklee Global Jazz Institute. His advisor is Maestro Chase Mooring, and again, as a panelist, Maestra Terry Lynn Carrington. And his presentation is called Reclaiming a Stolen Future, a musical exploration of the intersection of climate change and racial inequality in the modern world. We'd like to acknowledge the presence of all of the faculty of the Global Jazz Institute and the artists and artists in residence, and Maestro Danilo Perez, artistic director, Terwillian Carrington, Joe Lovano, John Paritucci, George Garzon, Alan Chase, Bruno Raber, Chase Mooring, and the wonderful team from the graduate studies and our assistants who help so much in this presentation. Eli, good luck, and it's all yours.
Thank you, Marco. All right. Good afternoon, and thank you all for coming to my culminating experience presentation. I would like to give a special thanks to my panelists, Danilo Perez, Terry Carrington, and Chase Morin, and to the Berklee Global Jazz Institute for hosting this event. Today, I'm going to be talking about something that I find very personal and also extremely serious, and that is the future of our planet. We live in a time of global unrest, inequality, and uncertainty. I believe this has come into clear focus during the coronavirus pandemic, but these problems aren't new. As a society, we currently face two parallel crises in climate change and pervasive institutional racism. These issues are interconnected and share many core similarities, as we will see throughout this presentation. These connections are rooted in the fact that they both stem primarily from practices of capitalism, imperialism, and colonization. I'm going to begin by elaborating a little on what I mean when I talk about climate change. First and foremost, this is urgent. According to the findings of the 2016 Paris Agreement, our planet's climate will undergo catastrophic, irreversible damage if we exceed 1.5 degrees Celsius of net temperature increase. Unless significant interventions are made immediately on a global level, this is currently expected to happen in under 11 years. It is also systemic. Climate change is not a random process. It is caused by humans and is directly impacted by the policies and actions, and frankly negligence, of our governments and large corporations. These policies and their resulting outcomes are extremely unequal. They inherently favor certain groups at the expense of others. As a result, the populations that face the highest risks are often the ones that are already marginalized in other ways, specifically people of color, lower income communities, and residents of the global south. In this project, my goal is to use music as a tool to convey the human elements of these stories, raise general awareness of their importance, and motivate direct action. This starts by deeply engaging with the intellectual connections between climate change and other cycles of oppression. Empowered with this knowledge, we become able to recognize the dangers and inequalities that these systems create and empathize more strongly with one another on an emotional level. Finally, this emotional connection can be mobilized as a source of inspiration and political action. The pieces will explore these themes along with some others. The musical element of this project consists of a 5-movement suite. Each piece deals with a distinct aspect of our current global situation, and together they form a continuous narrative on the intersecting themes of climate change and racial justice. The first movement, Calm Before the Storm, is inspired by the beauty and natural biodiversity of our planet. Addicted to Risk deals with corporate greed and exploitation, unsustainable business practices and policies, and their inevitable consequences. The third movement, Turning Point, looks at the real people who are affected most by these irresponsible actions, with a special focus on patterns of racial inequality. In movement 4, I invite everyone to imagine what it would take to achieve a sustainable future and how we will need to fundamentally reshape our relationship both with the environment and each other in order to achieve this. And finally, movement 5 is a call to action in order to demand and implement these changes. It is my hope that this project will shed some light on new perspectives and inspire action and advocacy in all of us. Our planet is extremely diverse and beautiful, and it's also our only home. This is something we should all value deeply and strive to protect. But due to the interdependent nature of our ecosystems, they're also extremely delicate and highly susceptible to human activity. We need to understand what is at stake. Despite our reliance on the planet, we are actively destroying it. Through exploitative practices linked to neocolonialism and extractive capitalism, our corporate executives and politicians engage in constant risk-taking for the sake of profit. In doing so, they are effectively playing with the lives and future of the entire planet's population. And as we'll see, it's only a matter of time before these opportunistic gambles catch up with us, inflicting irreversible damage and suffering along the way. The following video contains some strong imagery of this.
The Earth always did have limits. They were just beyond our sights. And now we are hitting those limits on multiple fronts. This is how civilizations commit suicide, by slamming their foot on the accelerator at the exact moment when they should be putting on the brakes.
On the Trump administration's plans to slash the Environmental Protection Agency. minority populations. That means that the facilities that these plans have located,
if these
in
cuts
particular
go
the
through,
plumes from these
we
facilities,
can almost
are
guarantee with
disproportionately
certainty
likely
that there will
to
be
affect
more
these
premature deaths and more sicknesses throughout the country, and the public should be outraged at that.
Wildfires are scorching the West Coast, leaving behind a path of death and destruction.
What caused 383,000 gallons of oil to leak from the Keystone Pipeline?
Slamming into the island, and as you heard, one official said the island
synonymous with tainted water. 600 still
The corporate risks that are destroying our environment impact real people. We need to think about the families and communities that are vulnerable and face uncertainty due to these extreme weather events and gradual habitat destruction. Environmental disasters carry a wide variety of harmful short and long-term implications, all of which disproportionately impact people of color around the world. It's time to reflect and ask ourselves why we have continued to allow these atrocities to occur time and time again. Why we have willfully ignored the clear warnings of scientists, activists, and indigenous leaders around the world for so many years. After decades of inaction, our planet currently sits in an extremely precarious position with a very uncertain future ahead. And I think it's normal to experience a strong emotional response when faced with this reality. I know I certainly have. But if we're able to mobilize these feelings, the possibilities for societal transformations become nearly endless. Critical reflection is a first step toward change, but this must be followed by real action. And if we want any of this to happen, we're going to need to demand it ourselves. It has been made painfully clear that our corporations and politicians will never act against their own financial self-interests in order to save the planet or its people. This change will only come from us. We must do everything in our power to fight all forms of inequality and environmental destruction at an individual and societal level. Let's demand immediate widespread action. Let's get involved. As I have stressed throughout this presentation, our Earth's environment currently sits in an extremely delicate position. No matter what, our future is going to look a lot different. But if we act quickly and definitively, we still have a chance to shape its course and save countless species, ourselves included, from certain death. Furthermore, we have a great opportunity to drastically improve the lives of millions of people by dismantling the oppressive policies and systems that brought us to this point in the first place, and replacing them with equitable and sustainable alternatives. This is not going to come easily. It will require some fundamental cultural value shifts and a massive grassroots political mobilization, but it is possible, and it's currently our best shot. I believe that music and the arts more broadly have a unique power to bring people together and motivate change. This is what inspired me to create this suite in the first place, and in the future I'm interested in continuing to expand this work through collaborations with visual and performing artists and environmental advocacy organizations. I also intend on releasing the project publicly in hopes of sharing these ideas with a wider audience. The following slides contain some resources for further reading and political engagement, along with an appendix of scores of my bibliography. Thank you all again so much for being here and listening to my presentation. It's been a true honor and privilege to be here with you all today, and I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you, Eli. Wonderful presentation. Thank you. And I would like to invite now the panel to ask question and comment to Eli. And I would like, again, to start with Terry because Terry is part of Eli panel. So I would like the first comment. Sorry, Terry, if I put you on.
That's okay.
This is how we've been doing it.
I know, yes, I'm on the hot seat now for both of these. Man, Eli, thank you. That's really what I first want to say. Thank you for doing this and hopefully making us all uncomfortable as we watch this, because you know, this particular justice struggle, environmental justice, is the mother of all justice struggles. I mean, there really can't be any other one more important, because without a planet, none of the other ones will matter. So I'm just so grateful that you took this on. The first part, part one, really, even though it was showing us kind of the richness, that the planet, has, and the resources that we have, it felt actually hopeful, because even though it was reflecting on, what's there or what has been there and what we're destroying, it just felt so hopeful of where we need to go, and this is one time that we, I'm always talking about the future, but this is one time we really need to go back, to the past and really try to have the things, the resources, the richness that the planet has had. So it was interesting for me to say, oh, this is one instance where, the past really does rule. And just the second part, addicted to risk, it made me very, very uncomfortable, which is great, to watch. And I felt myself within the second and the third parts, really feeling all of these emotions that you addressed later when you said, you realize that these things will make you feel all of these emotions, but it's important to mobilize around them. And I thought that was really, really poignant, because reflecting on these things, it made me see that reflection really needs to not be passive, and as we reflect on these things, I mean, it's kind of, we can get caught up with the work that we're doing, even if it's, along these lines, we can get caught up with that work, and kind of, it helps sometimes to, I won't say, to ignore, but it helps us sometimes focus on, just all kinds of important things that are going on in the world. But I just really appreciated the fact that you reminded me that reflection is not a passive thing, and how reflecting on this particular issue really should be a call to action, which was, your fifth point. And you really are presenting with all the facts. I couldn't read them all. As I read slow, but you really were, presenting, so many things in this short presentation. I really need to see it again to really read all of it and digest it all. But at the end, when you talked about collaboration, that felt super important to me as well, because none of this stuff, we can do without important collaborations. And also pointing to the youth All justice struggles, most all justice struggles have been spearheaded by youth movements. So it's kind of like it's in your hands, and so I appreciate that you're taking it on, and reminding us all, no matter what our generation is, of all the work that we have to continually do. It really made me not remember to not want to support certain companies. I mean, whatever you were going for, you accomplished. I just want to commend you on what a strong presentation this is, because yeah, it made me quite emotional. So the one thing I would say is, I know you're trying to put it all in this short time period, you had 20 minutes, but maybe try to, like, if you were to do it again, I would have said to speak a little slower, because even though I was your panel, I didn't really hear you speak. We were talking, but I didn't hear you speak. So I would say sometimes, because sometimes I was trying to focus on what you're saying and reading, and I wasn't getting everything. But if you were to speak a little slower sometimes, and sometimes just putting a little bit less information and letting it sit there for a moment is great for a presentation like this. But the biggest thing I want to say is congratulations, and that we need more of you. We need more people that are really concerned with saving our planet, saving all of our lives and our children's. I mean, if anybody has children, that was the biggest thing I could think about is, the future for our children. So thank you, Eli.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Terry. Chase Mooring, as his personal advisor for the semester, would you like to comment or question?
Yeah, Eli. Congratulations on the amazing progress and just I've seen this whole project develop over the past year. And one thing that is striking for me, a question for myself, and I'll ask this of you too, is that role of activism that you're confronting, right? The idea of taking charge, of doing, and I've seen this with you. I've seen you taking the steps toward leadership, towards presenting yourself as someone who is presenting this serious issue, but also advocating and leading people and mentoring, being an educator, that kind of thing. And I just want to commend you that I've seen so much progress on that front, that I think this project, as we've talked about so much, is more than just a suite of music. This is a presentation that you need to be presenting to the board of directors at Berklee and to organizations and companies. This is the kind of thing that I think that has power to bring people together and to show what the world can be and what we've done and what we need to do. So it makes me think about that as well. I'm like, I think all of us, this is what Terry touched on, we're all feeling a little uncomfortable. Like, okay, what can we do as individuals and collectively as a community? What can global do? What can I do as a person today, tomorrow, to take steps to confront this most important issue of our time? And so I guess I'm asking that of myself, and I want to ask that of you now. For the future, where do you see yourself in terms of taking charge, in terms of activism related to climate change and inequities in the world? What is your position in this?
Yeah. I mean, as we've talked about, like, music, I think, and the arts provide a really unique avenue for sort of raising these conversations and furthering dialogue. And I definitely intend, I think, on using my voice as a musician and hopefully as an educator also to sort of drive those conversations through music. But I also think that a lot of these progress happens just from talking with those in your circles and kind of convincing and motivating people around you to get involved. And I think that at the end of the day, that's the kind of change that I think will really make a difference if people are just among their own networks and then among their extended networks kind of having these conversations and caring about these issues. I think that is the most effective way for genuine change and genuine emotional attachment, just by interactions with people that you know and care about, and those conversations.
Great. So I'm there with you. Include me on those conversations.
Absolutely.
And let's put together a plan.
Yeah.
You know, I'm thinking about that for myself, and we can do that together, all of us. You know, what are the bullet points? This step, this step, this step, that we both talk about and raise awareness for, but also then commit to.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chase. Okay, I would like to welcome any other question or comment from the artist and the panelists.
Actually, I had another comment that I didn't say earlier, and I really didn't comment on the music itself. And I think, you know, like one of the best things is when music is composed and it fits, you know, the theme so well that you're not actually thinking about the music as much as it is the topics at hand. So I felt like you really married those things in such a way that it made me not immediately think about, you know, the nuts and bolts of the music itself. And I just wanted to bring that point up because it was very well composed, and I really love the contemporary aspect of some of it, which earlier on, and then how, you know, it came down to more of a jazz trio quartet setting, and how you know, naturally incorporated, you know, these aesthetics. So thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to say that along those lines too. I mean, the outreach and the social justice thing was so powerful that I was really kind of shaken after a while when the images and the way the music accompanied those images and sort of bolstered them, but also tugged on you. It pulled on my heart, and also my brain, because you have to engage people's minds and their hearts at the same time with this sort of, if you want to do a mission work like this. It's not just enough to make them feel something that is a fleeting thing, but you have to engage. And man, I wanted to read those books. I was writing down the names of the books. I was trying to keep up like Terry with all the panels and the info.
Gosh. Yeah.
It blew me away. But I will say, in addition, one of the ways that I would consider, if I were you, is become involved in a film and write the music for it, because you're very good at it.
Thank you.
I think you have a head and a heart for that. The music you did made those images even hit harder, which like Terry Lynn said, that's you nailed that. So I would encourage you to actually seek out opportunities to make films because you have something to say. And I'm going to do some research. I mean, that's a challenge for older people like me to say, well, I need to be doing something more, because I've been aware through friends about the ice caps and everything, who, you know, been to those places and taken pictures over time, because it's a place they would always go, like Patagonia, I think is one of those places, or where. And so when I saw those images, you know, they impacted me, but I haven't really done any long-term work towards. So raising awareness and creating change one person at a time, like you intimated too, I think is possible and powerful. The pictures you chose were powerful too. And it did, you know, my daughters are always talking to me about these things too. So I feel like we're motivated by what you did. And when my daughters have been educating me also, like, about these things. So, man, it's a challenge. Like Chase said and Terry Lynn said, now what is the question? Now, what am I going to do about it? Once I've seen this, I have no excuse, you see.
Yeah.
So thank you for shaking me up.
Thank you. Thanks so much, John.
And I love the music, the writing and the playing.
Thank you, John. Great. Any comments? Joe, do you want to say something?
Sorry, I was trying to find my mute. Yeah, Eli. Wow, that was really powerful and strong, man. Reclaiming a stolen future. Yeah, so much to think about, the future of the planet, and the way you put it together was so nice, man. The calm before the storm was really powerful and strong, and beautiful views of nature. The turtle, you know, from his viewpoint or her viewpoint, like just, that was really strong. Setting the stage for what followed in each movement, you know. The turning point, realization, having an awareness of what's going on around you, you know, and reflections, ways to cure, you know, and to rise up, save the future. I mean, you really touched on all these amazing points of view, and I thought the music throughout was so beautiful with each movement too. The really great orchestrations throughout the whole presentation, and the strong melodic rhythm gave energy to each movement also, and it was flowing in a real beautiful, natural way, man. I also echo the other thoughts people were speaking on, John and Terry and Chase, just about following up and the path forward. You laid that out really great at the end too. Your goals to collaborate and to partner with folks and to publish this work. And yeah, congratulations, man. That was really fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Any further comment or question?
Eli, congratulations. A wake-up call for us. I personally want to congratulate you in many levels. There's so much consistency in this presentation also, as I witness it from everybody. There's such an emotional response to what you have set up to do. I like the Afrocentric nature of this presentation. It's very strong. And all the projects I've heard so far are demonstrating an incredible capacity for film scoring. We have the future film scoring, all the new videos that we're gonna see it. So congratulations to all of you. Also, it's a wake-up call, Marco, in the original vision of the BJJI is to connect musical creative thinking with the natural environment. Thank you for reminding us. I have a funny story. We started all with so much energy in the first semester. I took everybody to the jungle, Jamie Haddad, Bennett Street, and couple jaguars that we saw. So when I told Marco, it's like, oh man, can we chill out on the environment theme for a minute? I don't know if I can handle a jaguar. So Marco, the jaguar is coming. It's time for the jaguar. So for everybody, this photo I have in the back, this is the Patagonia. And this was my last visit to one of these incredible places. I actually felt like this when I just heard your presentation. I started crying just to see how much damage we have done to ourselves and to the earth. You are using music to bring awareness. It's such a crucial topic, as you all mentioned, Terry Lynn also, climate change. Without this topic, addressing this topic, we cannot think about making new music. The people from the very wealthy and the people, the owners of Amazon they're already thinking about real estate in this space. So how can we stop all those movements? This is the way, creating awareness, gathering, talking about it, using our resources as creative being. Thank you very much. This went right down to the core of my heart, this presentation. it's reminding me that we got to get back to paying attention and playing from the nature again and bringing all these elements together to bring awareness. A couple of things I would say. There were times that the way you were speaking with the music kind of became one thing, and I felt a little bit let down by the music cutting down. Like I wish you could just have it a little bit on there, just a little bit, just because your voice. I want to hear you, and also the PowerPoint, if you could. I don't know if everybody felt that way, but at time I was like trying to see the words, and I agree that we're moving a little too fast.
Me too.
Yeah. I see great potential for this, applying for grants, connecting to the, I committed, I just got renewed my UNESCO Artists for Peace role, and I am committing with you to bring this to the awareness. Terry, we should bring this to UNESCO, and this is something very important that could be connected to many areas of the development. As a matter of fact, a lot of projects I'm hearing here should be the think tank for new ideas. The only thing I will add to this presentation is at the end, you could say, I know it feels overwhelming, but we could start here. And I tell you where we could start.
Yeah.
Composting, recycling, stop using plastic, stop cutting trees, and collaborate, like you said, within each other. That's the only thing, man. Beside that, perfection. Thank you. You just hit me in the head again, like boom.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Danilo. Eli, do you have anything else you would like to add to the panel? Anything else in your mind or in your art that you would like to share with us?
No, I just want to thank all the musicians again for playing on it, and thank Danilo and Terry and Chase and everyone who's helped at the program to help get me to this point.
Okay. Well,
Marco, before we continue, I'm going to take Chase's word and Eli. Help me to build this part of the vision of the Institute.
Yes.
Okay. Done.
Okay, well, congratulations, Eli. Let's clap a last very well-deserved acknowledgement of a beautiful presentation, music, and message. And this concludes Eli presentation, class 2020. I would like to welcome all of you at 2:30 for our last presentation for the day with Nathan Key. I'd like to thank all of the artists that are here today and all of the faculty and all of you and the family here and friends that are coming to see this, and our team that helps in the production of this event. I'll see you all at 2:30, and thank you again. Congratulations, Eli. Have a great rest of life.